deep sadness, and this is probably true for more than just Renee. Deep sadness often stems from the disconnect you feel to your true nature as a soul. So when you come here and you incarnate as a human and you get into density and you get into duality and you start doing incarnations and all kinds of stuff goes on, and all kinds of stuff bad goes on, let's be real, right? That's a lot of how it gets seen most of the time, especially in incarnations where you could barely stay alive because one bad crop and everybody dies and all that kind of stuff. That tension between the truth of you as an infinite immortal soul and the in-your-face reality of the survival instinct and I could die any moment, I could suffer and die any moment, even worse. That tension can show up as deep sadness because there's a part of you that has separation anxiety, is a diagnostic term, or there's a part of you that says, I know I'm more than this and I can't find it, or there's got to be something beyond this. I know there's something more than just this. And that inability to remember, to imbibe, to live in the truth of yourself as a soul can create kind of a separation anxiety that can be really perceived as a deep sadness. It's a sense of the truth of me is not accessible to me. Now, that's why we do what is true now. It's because we're trying to bring you back to. That's why we work on being conscious and bringing in your soul's perspective. It's because we're trying to bring you back to. That's why the Matriarch holds you and gives you that kind of loving energy, is to help remind you. Because that deep sadness is kind of an Achilles heel to light worker. Because there's this part of you guys that we say, you came here to do this fun thing, and you're like, it's not fun!
Not yet.
It's not really fun. Like, not most of the time. Like, not 95% of the time. It's not this hee-haw fun thing like you think it is, Elohim. And we're like, yeah, well, we get that. We get it. And so that disconnect can cause that. We're feeling that what you're labeling as this deep sadness is that disconnect. And we don't know if we're explaining it well.
No, I think
Okay.
that's a very accurate depiction of it, really, because it's not named or tied to anything in this world. It's just this kind of deep sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
We have plenty of people. We actually had a private session start out. We said hello, and the person said, I want to die.
Oh my.
And it wasn't that she was suicidal. It was this exact thing you're describing. It's this sense of, I can't go on feeling, not I can't go on being human, but I can't go on feeling this disconnect, because it's the burden of this disconnect causes me to feel so sad, depressed, So what do you do about this, right? The thing you do about this is, of course, what we try to help you with every week. But specifically, it's accessing your soul's perspective and connecting with your insight, connecting with the ahas. So when you get ahas, let that help tip the scale a little, right? You're like this. Deep sadness due to the disconnect.
Right.
But every time you get an aha, your responsibility is to acknowledge it so that you start to tip that scale. Because what's going to happen is when you have a lot of ahas, which a lot of you are having ahas all the time, when you start to really receive insight, when you start to go, oh, wait a second, there's more going on here than just what I thought was going on, it starts tipping and tipping and tipping and tipping until it's this way and you're living from your soul's perspective in the physical body. Remember we told you as you were going up the stairs to the landing, the next landing is knowing you're all one. And the Matriarch explained that we get to knowing we're all one by setting boundaries. Well, we set boundaries so that you can have this kind of deep introspection. If you were busy off running around trying to save the whales and the baby seals and the starving children in Africa and collect bottle caps for charity or whatever, you'd never have time to do this. And if you had to grow your own food and milk your own cows and defend your borders against the neighboring clan, and you wouldn't have time for this either. So that's why this incarnation is really the first incarnation that you guys have been on the cusp of being able, even though your lives are very busy, you're still on the closer to being able to have the time and the wherewithal and the energetic support to look at ascension in a real way. In a real way. Yeah, you need a job and you're trying to make money and you're trying to pay your bills and keep yourself fed and all that stuff, but you can also have these profound insights in the meantime.